Yo, what is good, everybody? The Redshirt podcast is back. I know we haven't been on here for a little bit, taking a little bit of hiatus. Some things got pushed back, but as always, man, we're back to talk some college football with you guys. Um, I'm your host, DG. As always, I got my guy, my brothers in the building, Tre at that 816. It's been a wild couple weeks of college football going on, man. A lot of things changing in the landscape. So it's been fun, man, especially to watch. A lot of teams separating themselves at this point. Some teams becoming contenders, and some teams becoming pretenders. Uh, why you giving me that look? No, we'll get into it. Tre, man, how you feeling tonight?
Why you gotta do that, bro? Why you gotta do that?
Oh, my bad.
Oh gosh, man. It's been a ride of a season. Not only just as a fan, but also as somebody who watches college football avidly. We've seen, like what you said, we've seen people who've really become contenders. We've seen people who've been pretenders. It's been a ride. I think that the sad part is we're in the back half of the college football season. But I mean, dude, this has been a fun ride. We've seen teams that look great, and fans are chirping, and they're talking college, they're talking national championship, and then they fall off. Then you got other teams who have been just waiting for their opportunity, and they just been waiting for that one moment to strike and figure out that one way to put themselves solely separately in that 12-team playoff. So it's been a ride for sure.
Yeah, people are really starting to separate themselves. We're really gonna start to see who's gonna turn out to be who in these next couple of weeks. It's getting really interesting. This is where I feel like football season really starts. This is where the real winners separate themselves. But we got a very special episode tonight for you guys. We got a real winner in the house tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let Tre introduce our guests that we got in the house tonight for you guys. So Tre, go ahead, take it away.
It's always a special treat when we bring on our guests. We've had a great one, and I think that we've added another great piece to it. This guy right here, he's a co-founder of the Pro Path Management. He's a former football coach. He knows everything about NILs. Anything that you could ever think about for NIL, the guy knows it. He's a great media personality. You've seen him if you were really big in recruiting like me and like DG and like a lot of other people. We are big into recruiting. Then you know this guy already. He's got this guy right here has covered guys like Ryan Wingo of the Texas Longhorns, former Mizzou Tiger, and Williams Winery, and Josh Manning. Actually, Josh is actually on the team still. We got guys who have been all around, from Jeremiah McClellan, Jeremiah Love. We have a lot of guys. Luther Burden, Chicago Bear and Missouri legend, Luther Burden. He's covered him. And he's all around the place, and he's going this way, that way, every way, and he's known. And this is the guy that I know for a fact is a great media personality, and is a great recruit, and is a great guy to talk about recruiting. I'm talking about the guy who used to be at Rivals, but he's doing bigger and better things now. We're talking about Clint Cosgrove. This guy right here is something special. What's up, Clint?
Hey, what's up? Hey, no, you made me sound a lot better than I am, so I appreciate you, man.
A lot of guests say.
Hey, no, I appreciate you having me on. I'm excited to talk ball. Yeah, gosh, thinking about all those names, watching Luther, going to see Luther at school when he was a freshman in high school. Yeah, a lot of great names coming through there, and I'm just honored to be on, man. Talk some ball, talk some recruiting, maybe some NIL. Let's do it.
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna have to get into that. DG, we ask a lot of teams. So we asked our previous guests about what they think that their favorite team is. Let's talk about, number one, a little bit about your favorite teams and who have you liked this season.
Favorite teams, it's crazy. You know, we kind of talked a little bit off camera about this, but when you grow up in the business, you know, with my dad being a football coach, like, yeah, I was a diehard Wisconsin fan growing up because he was coaching at Wisconsin, and that was what brought home the bread. And so if Wisconsin wasn't winning, life wasn't going to be good. And Wisconsin really kept winning. And, you know, it just becomes, it's more of a relationships-based business when it comes to teams, you know. So I'm cheering for friends that are coaching, family that is coaching. You know, you just get to know so many people. It's such a very close fraternity that it becomes less about the logo and more about the people that are involved in the program for me. Now, teams that I think are on fire this year, that's easy to say. I mean, you look at the two at the top, Ohio State and Indiana. Did you guys see that catch?
Yes.
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 I've never seen anything like that. And I've seen Omar since he was like a sophomore in high school. He was a beast. I've never seen a dude with forward momentum able to get his front foot back and touch the ball. Like that was bananas. I was kind of speechless. I wanted to tweet about it, but I was like, I was just trying to take it all in. So that was wild. I think Indiana showed something there. You know, Penn State, yeah, their record's not great, but there's some talent on that team, you know? And so, but Ohio State, you know, Texas A&M, Alabama, I think is a lot better than we thought they were at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Ty Simpson throw that ball. And, you know, Kalen DeBoer is just a winner through and through. All the guy does is win. You know, obviously it's hard to find a legend. I like Ole Miss. You know, Kiffin's become this like new dude, you know, and I like it, man. It's entertaining. But there, you know, there's some teams that are right on the edge. Like Oklahoma's has surprised me a little bit. Oregon is a team that I think is as talented as anybody. You know, they got hit with the injury bug a little bit. And so, you know, that's an interesting one. Texas Tech, their defense is ridiculous. You know, I was kind of wait and see on them throughout the season. I've seen that D play a couple times, and they got that good little running back. You know, the quarterback's been there for a long time. He's a legacy. And then you got some guys that, you know, teams that have really surprised, and you know, they're not perfect, but like, you know, you got Vanderbilt. What a job Clark Lee has done there. Like he's big time coach. He's a great person, phenomenal person, just as good person as he is a coach. I think Miami, you know, they had a couple games where things didn't go the way they should have, but they are a very good squad. And I think they're going to click at the right time. Big fan of South Florida with my guy, Alex Golish down there. You know, I'm not sure. I think that they would be the top they would be the top group of 5 team if they did the playoffs right now. But I think he's done a great job down there. But yeah, no, it's been an interesting season. I mean, you got your consistent teams like Utah in there. Texas, you know, started out rough. Now Arch is looking like he's got a little superstar to him. We got Wingo down there tearing it up, stretching the field. So yeah, man, it's an exciting season.
Yeah, definitely been very, very exciting for sure. I wanted to bring this up real quick.
Oh, Notre Dame I like a lot too.
Oh yeah.
So as of Tuesday, Clint, this has been, I think, the projected bracket of where the college football playoffs would be if the season ended today. With your 4 top seeds being Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Alabama. I do want to ask you one quick question about the bracket in the 12-team playoff. What are your thoughts so far? Because there's been so much controversy back and forth on, you know, should they expand it? Should it go to a 16-team playoff? A lot of people still like the 4-team format. So when they went to this 12-team bracket, what was your thought process behind all that, and how did you feel about them moving to a system like this?
So man, I'm such I was a traditionalist, and now I work in NIL. So like I you know, I had to ditch the tradition stuff at some point and really get with the times. So like I have a couple thoughts about it. At first I didn't want the playoff period because I grew up going to bowl games and I loved the week of the bowl game, going out with the family, doing all the theme parks, and that was just more of a selfish reasoning behind it.
Right.
I just loved, the Rose Bowl, like the granddaddy of them all. And then you get to a point where, you realize that there does have to be a playoff. You can't have just say, oh, you know what, these two were the best teams in the nation. And, let's have them split a national championship. So I do think the playoff, although it took me a little bit to come around to it. And what was that one? It was 4 teams or 2 teams. On the other hand, the more they expand it, I think the more it takes away from bowl games. But, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe that's, the future of where we're going. But the one thing that we've always gotten it right, even when if it was 4 teams or 2 teams, who do we get it right? We got the national championship right. It would be hard to argue that the right team didn't win the national championship. And each time we've seen a team that maybe was considered they probably shouldn't be in the playoff, they usually got boat raced. So do we keep on continuing adding teams? Yeah, I like the opportunity. I love that these guys with 2 losses still have an opportunity to play for something great. Maybe a kid went down. Maybe they just had a bad luck, a bad call. I don't know what it is. You don't steal their entire season for them because they can still accomplish their goals that they set out for before the season. But at some point, I think, if you're just going to end up with the same teams that would have made the 4-team playoff, right? In the end, what's the point of continuing to expand? And I feel like the one thing that we have seen over the years is the right team has typically won. And, regardless of arguments of who should have been it, who shouldn't it, you see, you just see the team that probably should have won, usually winning it every year. The other thing I like about the expansion is you're going to see less guys sitting out. So you get, more entertaining football. If your favorite player isn't playing because they're not in the running for the college football playoff, I think that hurts the game. I don't blame the kid. They got to protect themselves at the same time as well. So yeah, I think there's good and bad to it. I love seeing a team like South Florida in there. I love seeing Indiana in the top 4. Who in God's name thought that would happen, Right. Notre Dame being able to be a part of that, because I really do think they're one of the best teams in the nation, despite having 2 losses. And like I said, Oregon, they haven't looked the greatest the past couple of weeks, but I'm telling you what, that team is so talented and they're young, and that defense is ridiculous on top of it. So, there's a lot to like about it. I'm kind of flip-flopping on how much I like the expansion and how much I don't, but there's reasons for all of it. And, I just try to take a very open-minded approach and kind of see how things go. I think the most important part is that the fans are getting what they want. The players are putting on a show, and they're taking it seriously and competing.
Right.
Because honestly, I'm with you there, because I think one of the biggest things is that it takes out the love or the importance of some bowl games. And not me personally, I'm kind of with you. I think we watched just one Rose Bowl game.
Yep.
And they're done. And then now in this new landscape, and now because they're putting in anything else, I've never seen a team win multiple bowl games in one season. So it kind of changes some things. But one thing I do like is how the group of 5 is. I love how the committee is still including the group of 5. Did you ever see if you didn't see USF in there, what game do you feel like put USF in that spot to be in the college football playoff?
I mean, they're just scoring a ton of points. Their offense is rolling. That quarterback's a true dual threat guy. He can do a little bit of everything. Nobody plays perfect ball, and it's really hard to. I mean, when you're a group of 5 school, you're typically not going to have the depth, of these other teams. So it's hard to sustain it throughout the whole season. I'm trying to remember who their 2 losses were.
I believe
was Cincinnati one of them?
So they beat Miami. I know.
Yep, they beat Miami. They beat Boise State, who hasn't turned out to be that great. They beat Florida, who hasn't turned out to be that great.
Yeah.
They lost to Memphis, who's a phenomenal team, and they lost to Miami. Okay, so they lost to Miami and they lost to Memphis.
Okay.
So, and if another team's going to be in that 12 spot, like Memphis is probably that other team. Like they're balling out. And they're scoring a lot of points. I think North Texas is exciting to watch. So, but yeah, I love seeing them in there. Argument could probably be made for a different school to be in there as well, but I think that's what the rest of the season's for. How do teams finish? How do they play at the end? Are they healthy? Like the committee is going to be looking at stuff like that. Like, all right, if their 3 best players are out, we're probably going to but they have to take the highest ranked group of 5 school. So, but then don't think that there aren't going to be a little games going on in there as places try to, jockey for position in this playoffs. So.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Let me see. I think I would say my other question would probably be, you see the AP polls and how they come out, and then you see now we're getting into that spots where they're talking about the college football rankings. How do you feel like the AP polls should still have a say in this, or you think that when it comes to the ranking portion that it's just solely just the college football playoff rankings and that's it?
That's a hard question. And I really don't pay too much attention to the rankings except for at the very beginning of the season and then towards the end of the season. When you're dealing with the AP, I think they do a really good job because they study these teams almost like, from a scientific level, from a analytics level, and all these things. But there's a lot of AP voters who probably don't know a ton about football, if I'm just being completely honest. So I do think it's shown over the years to be pretty accurate. And there are some very, very good voters on that committee that know a lot about football, know a lot about the inner workings, what's going on, everything like that. And then you've got a committee of basically football people. So I think you need to mix it up a little because we all have our biases, whether we're media, whether we're within the football world. And they don't even have to be necessarily bad biases or even be aware of them. But I think when you take 2 groups, mesh it together, you get a lot better chance of, getting things right. Because one group might have different biases than the other, and at least you can cancel each other out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you had to pick, okay, as a kind of a sleeper team, somebody you wouldn't expect, just say they go on a Cinderella run through through this playoff, who would that team be that you would pick out at this point?
That's a tough one. By BYU, right when I was getting big on BYU, they had to go and get their faces. Iowa's really shown some things. Like if they could get in, like I think that they could give you some problems. Vanderbilt, like you never know with I don't even know Diego. How like that dude. What did he put out? He threw for like 300 something yards and ran for like another 100 something the other day, like almost 400 yards.
Yeah.
And then Notre Dame. I mean, to me, Jeremiah Love, there isn't any. That's a player who can straight up take over a game. Like you see that old Zin meme when it's like when your friends are trying to get you from going to grab Zin at 2:00 in the morning at the at the gas station, and he's just going down the sideline throwing everybody, and it's playing that old like I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know. He can take over a game, and CJ Carr, he's a great young quarterback as well. So, they're not really a Cinderella because they're Notre Dame. But I do, and then you look at Texas Tech and that defense. So, yeah, I don't count anybody out. Like I wouldn't want to play Ole Miss. I know that. I wouldn't want to play Indiana. You saw what happened to Indiana last year, and you're like, I want to play Indiana, but I don't know. Like there's just something different in the water there, and like what's like you don't catch the ball like that ball, Omar Cooper, and then Mendoza, and just they're freaky. And then I was watching highlights of Ty Simpson, and I'm like, this kid can just slang the ball. Right. And then you got the receivers that they have. Ohio State, obviously, Julian Sayin, he's a young quarterback, but he's been so done such a good job. You know, I've known Carnell Tate for a long time. He's just such a phenomenal person, such a phenomenal player. You know, their number 3 receiver is what? Brandon Ennis. You know, they had Jeremiah Smith. I mean, they've got an NFL receiving room. And so, and their offensive line, like they haven't even had consistent starters a lot of the time. They've had to patch that ever since last year, kind of patchwork it through, and they always find a way to win. So, yeah, I haven't seen enough of A&M, but if they're 9-0 in the SEC, I know that they're good. And I think Marcel Reed, that's the quarterback, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like he's slept on. Marcel's a player. Like I remember back when I was doing, you know, rankings with rivals and stuff, like I always wanted him higher, and everybody be like, no. And like, so, you know, I like seeing him out there doing good. And his dad was a football coach as well. And so, you know, Texas, dude, like, you never know. Like they check the boxes, you know.
Right.
Arch is developing. He doesn't have a lot of games under his belt. Like people got to understand that. And he seems to be coming around. I think there's a lot of pressure on him, and I think he handles pressure very well, having grown up in his family. Yeah. But I don't care who you are. Like at some point, you know, you feel a little heat. Yes. And so, but they have the pieces. You know, if you can stretch the field, if you can cause turnovers, and you've got a quarterback, you've got a chance.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. Speaking of the quarterbacks, I do want to bring this up to you as well too. The latest Heisman odds from the last week. Obviously, we've seen the performance that Fernando Mendoza had in against the Penn State Nittany Lions, and that comeback, things of that nature. Julian Sand has obviously been playing out of his mind right now for Ohio State. And Ty Simpson as well. I think it surprised really everybody. Right now, who would you say if you were on the Heisman committee and you had to pick 3 guys to show up to the presentation for that night for the trophy, who are you going with?
I'm gonna have to go 4 because
that's good.
I really think that 3 quarterbacks at the top, like how do you leave them out of it unless the wheels fall off? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for Mendoza to have Indiana playing at the level they're playing at, and granted they've done a really good job coaching and surrounding him with talent. You know, Julian's saying he's surrounded with a ton of talent. Now, if we're looking at value, like I don't see a lot of value at plus 175 when picking a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Right.
But I think those 3, they got to be there. But I also got to have a running back there, and that'd be Jeremiah Love. And to me, chances of him winning it aren't that great. But I think if you're looking at the best value on there is probably him. And then I would say number 2 is probably Ty Simpson.
Yeah, for sure. This list to me has completely, I think from our predictions from the early on this season, has completely altered where we were totally at, at the beginning of the year.
Dude, I'm telling you, like the group text at the beginning of the year, I'm like, here's the Heisman guys. I was like, Nussmeier is my top guy. I was like, but I was like, I can't take him at that value. I didn't even know he'd be the top guy. Then I said my sleepers were Dante Moore, which that was trending for a while, and then it didn't. And then Jeremiah Love. And so, I think Love odds were about the same at the beginning of the season. I can't remember. But, I mean, Diego too, like to have Vanderbilt where you're at, it's just, you can't go wrong with any of these guys. I think they're all worthy. I think they're all been phenomenal. Like I said, I love Marcel Reed. You know, Julian Sand as was he a freshman? Like to be playing at that level, absolutely ridiculous. And just so accurate and does everything the right way. Now that he has the weapons around him, and they do a really good job of controlling the game and getting him into the right looks and everything like that. But at the end of the day, he's executing. But yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Gunnar Stockton. We all know Jeremiah Smith's a dude. I haven't seen a ton of Haynes King, and I have seen Chambliss. Like I you know, who would have thought you go from D2 to running Ole Miss to the number 7 or 8 team in the nation with a single loss. Like that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Lane has done a tremendous job with him. Go ahead, Trey.
No, I was gonna say, because I was gonna bring up, because you mentioned you mentioned Trinidad Chambers. And I was telling DJ a couple weeks back, I said it, if there's anything that's the better story in college football right now, I think Trinidad has to be the 1 or probably 1B, because it's like to go from the quarterback that they had, which was, I think it was Austin Simmons, and he goes in and he gets hurt, and then Trinidad, again, a D2 kid coming up, and him just getting on them with the clip, the snap of the finger, and he just continued to be developing, and he's going to continue to get great. I was like, dude, I don't know how in the world he can't be, and at least a little, he can't even be in the conversation of getting an invite like that. I just felt like that was insane.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is a cool story. I don't think we thought he would be starting, much less, tearing it up and doing what he's doing. And, he's with the right coach, the right system, and obviously a big time talent. I can't think of a lot of stories that are better than that. I kind of like, is it the kid at North Texas that hadn't started a game since like his freshman year in high school or something? And now he's just like all over the place and just tearing it up. I don't know if it's him. I get lost in these storylines because I'm dealing with so many different things, but like, yeah, those are two. Whoever the kid is who hadn't started a game in forever and then is just tearing it up, and then Trinidad as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that honestly, NIL's just kind of really changed, because it's like kind of like another story I would probably say is like, well, you got the BYU situation, and just in both aspects, because you got the guy who was the quarterback there that's now he's transferred to Tulane, and now Tulane looks really good. And then you also still got Bear, or I think that's his name, Bear.
Yeah, Bachmeyer. I don't know. He's like a freshman too.
And I'm like, because at first people were ripping on him because I'm like, bro, you're wearing number 47 as a quarterback.
I know. It just doesn't look right.
It does.
It's disgusting, Clint. It's absolutely. To have to sit there and watch that kid play in Lubbock last week and watch him play with 47 on his jersey was like, please get him a new jersey.
Well, he's kind of built like a linebacker, and I'm wondering if he played linebacker growing up and he just never wanted to change his number.
I just felt like I was watching my little brother play like NCAA and like putting the running back and quarterback.
Yeah. Like you expect him to line up in the wing tee when you see him getting
Absolutely.
I think that it's been a crazy season all in all. It's like just watching that, and then we take a look at things on the Big 12 aspect. We had the guy who runs Locked On K-State, and we're all sitting over there like, yeah, Kansas State, they got to be a contender for the Big 12 as well as for the college football split. And it just goes.
It's down. That started out bad in Ireland.
Yes. Yeah. We thought that would be a kind of a, all right, it's week 1 or week 0. Or would you say, they're trying to get their feet underneath them. Tough game in Ireland. Yeah, just disaster.
It just kept on trending downward.
And BKU though, so
I don't think as KU, like, I guess KU hasn't beat Kansas State in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I think they said 17 years.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah. It's kind of like one of those games. Here we go again.
Yeah.
Sure. I did have one question about the NIL situation.
Yep.
So what would you, a lot of people, of course, are old school people, and the old school way of recruiting, and you play for the pride of the school and things of that nature. Now it's all kind of changed to where you got guys driving Lambos and things of that nature. But for me, being where I grew up from, coming from, the inner city and things of that, like seeing some of these kids get the opportunity to make life-changing money for their families even before they go pro or anything like that. How, is that to you? Is that looked at as a positive to you, or is it something that you would be on the old school side of, like, I'd rather they pick a school for pride or something of that nature?
Yeah, that's a fabulous question, because I was on the old school side. Like, it just felt dirty at first. And now I work in player management, so like there's definitely a big flip that went on there. Here's what I think about it. I think there's a lot of good that comes out of it. And there's obviously bad parts to it.
Yes.
I mean, anything, especially any new market that's like not totally regulated and people don't know what's going on. Like there's going to be people taken advantage of. There's going to be people who don't get what they deserve. But at the end of the day, I really, truly believe it is a great thing because let's just go back to how much money these schools have made off the backs of these kids for how many years. And so, like, for instance, I play at Wisconsin and one of my teammates, they sell his jersey, right? Who knows how many jerseys they sell? And that dude doesn't end up in the NFL, right? So the school is making all that money just because it didn't say his name on the back. They're still selling his number and everybody knows what they're buying. But then that guy doesn't make it into the league. And basically he went to school to play football, because he was that good and he had that much support. And then all of a sudden you're left with nothing to show for it if you didn't go to the league. So like this is generational wealth changing opportunities sometimes. I think the scary part is when you give people who aren't ready to have money, that haven't had the the mentorship, the schooling, whatever it is. We don't do a good job of teaching, financial planning in our school system. We just don't. So when you're handing somebody whose family has maybe never had anything, I think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that life can change overnight. What I don't like is the bad that can come with having money when you weren't ready to have it. And so that can be the downside. The other thing is, like, I understand everybody wants to help their family. They want to help their friends. And I think that's a phenomenal thing too, because, these are people who helped you along the way. But at the same time, like, there can't be handouts. Like, we've got to teach these kids young, like, all right, if so-and-so wants money, all right, I'm going to make an LLC. You're going to be on payroll, right? So and it might just be, I need you to come and pick me up at school and take me back to home when I have days off. Like, and then I think people need to work for money, because what a lot of people don't understand is these kids are working their tails off, putting it all on the line every single day. And, people sometimes assume just because, their friend growing up or their brother has money that, like, this is going to last forever. It's not. And so I love the fact that they're making the money that they should. All these kids are bringing in money to schools and they should be paid for it. I have zero debate, question, or anything about that. You do work, you get paid for it. Now, some of these valuations and stuff are ridiculous, but at the same time, in any open market, like, the market's going to dictate the market. And in football, it's a business, but it's a very separate business backing compared to normal business. For somebody where the reward on your investment, it doesn't come in financial form. I mean, where else do you find that else? If I want to see my team, if I want to see Virginia win a national championship before I die, and that's the only thing I care about, and I want to give $10 million to them to do it, who's to say that's not market value? Because that person is going to die a happy person, and that's all they cared about, their money. And so, like, I think when you get into these valuations and what's fair value and everything like that, I think it becomes a very hard space, because you cannot put a value on pride in your school, pride in wanting to win, the experience of, like, you asked me about the LSU. Am I an LSU fan? No, the experience of being a part of that and being there when my dad was winning a national championship. Like, those are some of the greatest days of my life. And it's such an emotional sport, and people are so tied to it that, like, everyone thought NIL would have people tuning out. No, more people are tuning in than ever. And it's also helped with parity. So, one, the kids deserve the money. Two, we got to do a better job of educating them on how to use it and how to create people on payroll so that they can sustain that wealth. But at least they're getting something that in the past they did not get. And I love that. I think, three, use the money to help create a brand that transcends football. What can I do with this money that, if I get hurt or if it doesn't work out, I have an investment strategy, or I have built my brand where I can start a podcast maybe and make some money. It's like constantly developing your brand. And, but, like, I mean, kids getting paid, they deserve it.
Yeah.
They really do. Like, how are you going to tell Justin Bieber when he was 14, if you want to go and sell out an arena, you know what? You can't get paid for that, bro. You're not old enough. That's against the NCAA rules. Like, no, let's be real. Like, if you're a talent, you deserve to be compensated for your talent. And I don't think people realize how hard it is to be as great as some of these guys are to make the money that they're making.
I think I agree with you, especially because it's like in this day and age, we've seen kids not be in the best of situations, living wise or family wise or whatnot, and it just kind of puts them in a bad spot. And it's just like now, kind of like what you said, they weren't making any type of money. We were playing NCAA 10, 11, 12, whatever, however long it was, and they didn't even have their names on it. It was number 1. It would be their number, but it would be like number 1, number 4, number 13. And then it's like, now it's like, I think that I looked at NIL first. I was like, dude, so now Alabama can make the super team. Like, no, it kind of leveled the playing field a little bit, because it's like now you can see a lot of these other teams and a lot of these other programs, if they really build it the right way, they can start to contend with these teams. You can start seeing a team like Vanderbilt, who simply continues to get better and better each and every year. You'll start seeing other teams from the Big 10 and Big 12 really make a name for themselves. Because I mean, I was one of those kids who I was like, all right, cool, Alabama won 1. All right, 2 is fine. Okay, all right, now we're doing too much. We're doing a little too much. So it's just like, now it's like, instead of watching, like, for instance, in the 2027 class, Texas Tech is making a whole bunch of kids committed.
Sure do.
I know DJ don't like it, but Texas Tech is generating a lot of revenue.
They are. They paid $1 million to a softball player, and she ended up being worth the investment. And that's where it goes back to, like, how do we put a value on this? Like, you're changing institutions. You're upping enrollment. You know how many people have probably never even heard of Lubbock, Texas, that are applying to Texas Tech now? Like, let's be real. And then the other thing, and you hit it spot on the head, is this was the most pivotal time to have a roster worth retaining in college football history, right? So, I mean, you see a team like Wisconsin, who I follow closely, they had been winning, but the talent had been kind of falling off, and the winning hid the lack of talent that was coming in, right? Then you look at a team like Iowa State, and I know they've kind of fallen off the last few weeks, but they peaked. They had their roster at peak performance, and instead of losing all of those guys like Rocco Becht, that would have been somewhere else this season, they had a roster worth retaining, and they were able to take the revenue share money and retain the roster of guys that they wanted, their nucleus that would have always been gone in the past. So, like, this is the best time. People say you can't be a developmental program. No, you need to overspend at some positions and then find developmental guys and keep that roster building and pay up where you need to. And, but there's never been a better time in football to have had your program with a roster worth retaining than ever. I mean, if you didn't have one worth retaining, you were chasing. And unless you were chasing with bags and bags like Texas Tech, it's a lot harder now. And so, the process changes a little, but the number one goal at this stage is get a roster that is worth retaining. And it's the most important time in college football. The days of, okay, well, you're still going to see it, but the days of, all right, I'm Alabama, I'm just going to go and pay the most money for the top quarterback. Like, that's not going to happen, because guys are going to be like, no, I can get paid the same amount and stay at the school that I went to and continue building this thing here. So, I think the parity is great. I think the kids getting paid are great. It's a little bit of the Wild West, but this money's doing good things overall, I think. And I'm always all about the kids. Like, the kids need to be paid. I'm all about the kids.
Yes. I want to talk about 2 things. Well, speaking of the NIL deals, another thing that kind of ties in to something like the transfer portal also has been a kind of a topic of discussion amongst a lot of people, positively and negatively as well too. I kind of lean on more of the side of there should be other stipulations and rules around the transfer portal. I'm not really with the guys being able to move schools year to year to year to year, year after year. So I think that's one of my biggest pet peeves about it. But I do believe that if something is not working for you at this school, or you're not getting the time or something like that at this school, I do believe you should have that opportunity to go out there and search other opportunities to go to another school and get a chance and things of that nature. How have you felt about how the transfer portal rules have kind of changed over the years?
Yeah, well, I like it how they have it down to one transfer portal session now. I think that, uncomplicates things a little bit. Dude, being in the transfer portal is like, that's speed dating. It's hard to recruit. Like, you need to know you have options before you enter the portal, because what happened, what we saw those first years, there's a lot of people who went into the portal and they never came out,
Yeah.
So it's one thing if you've got somebody in your ear being like, oh, you need to go to this school to get this and that, and then and it's all BS. Like, yeah, that's one thing. But if you're unhappy, whether it's mentally on the football field, maybe it doesn't seem like like, these are kids who have kid issues, and I don't care how much money you make, you're still developing and you're still learning to overcome adversity, and you're still away from home for the first time. And there's all these things. So, like, yeah, I hate the let's give up and just move on. But what you'll find is a lot of those guys who are on their third transfer, they're either really, really good, and so schools want them, or they're not able to transfer by the third time because they haven't panned out anywhere else that they've been. So I do think that that's something that you look into. And when it comes to roster retention, I do think we're going to see less of the transfer portal. I'm like I said, I'm always about the kids. If a kid's not happy, he has the right to at least seek happiness. But I think there needs to be something done that makes sure that they're not seeking happiness in the wrong place and ending up in a worse place than they were before that. Yeah. Like, if we could find a way to, maybe they can't go back to the school, but they can stay enrolled in the school, stuff like that until they find something. Because some of these guys, they go to the portal and then all of a sudden they're not getting their education either because they didn't find another school. They think they're too good for this school or that. I don't have all of the answers, but I think we need to protect the kids as much as we can. And part of protecting them is making sure that they have options to grow as people and grow at the right place and the right way. And so, there needs to be regulation, but at the end of the day, I will never, not support a kid who makes a transfer decision for the right reasons. Like, at the end of the day, like, we have our families, we have our happiness, we have what we're grateful for. If you're in a place where you can't be in a gratitude mindset, chances are you're not in the right place. You know what I mean? Like, especially with everything that you got going on, like, it's a lot of pressure, but if you can't be grateful when you get this opportunity that very, very few people have. And, I talk with my kids about having gratitude every day. And it changes everything. But if you can't find gratitude where you are, maybe you do have to seek it out somewhere else. And a lot of the time, the transfer portal isn't exactly how it appears. The media spins it one way. The coaches play games. Like, there's all kinds of stuff going on. But I think it's important. I would probably cap it at 2 times if they were going to make some sort of change, unless you have some sort of like a family health issue or exactly.
Nah, because I definitely agree. Because one of the guys that I've looked at that's also he's about to hit his second time in the portal, and Dylan Edwards. It's like, first he goes to Colorado, he's doing well. It seems like everything's fine. He said he has this great connection between him and Prime, and then he suddenly hits the portal after 1 year, and then now he goes to Kansas State, and he's here for 2 years. Now he's in the portal again, and we don't know what's going to. It's wild to me, because it's like, again, you gotta know what's going on within college football. You gotta know who's going where, what's going where, because you look up. Because I was telling people, I was like, I was still thinking I was still thinking like, oh, Jeremiah McClellan was over at, I think he was at Iowa State or Ohio State at first, and then transferred over to Oregon.
He flipped on signing day, so he never enrolled at Ohio State. So he's been at Oregon the whole time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, no, it just kind of, and I think as well as recruiting, because I was also going to ask you about that, is like how does NIL also impact it in recruiting? Because it's just like it seems like nowadays, like a lot of kids are flipping here and there and there. You got the quarterback at Cal. He had signed to Oregon and hit the portal right after and immediately went to Cal. Like, how do you feel like it impacts the recruiting process as well?
I mean, it's going to have an impact. It's the same reason you're seeing teams, retain their rosters. Like, money is involved. Now for some kids, it's not the driving factor. Like, I would say actually for most it is not, because I think one, the amount of money that players are getting out of high school in the portal is overstated. You're only hearing about the quarterbacks and the multi-million guys. You're not hearing about the guy going to play at a Power 4 school that's making $60,000 a year, And so I think that can be overstated, but it does matter. It does. I mean, if somebody's going to offer you $300,000 for you to take the same exact job and you're making 90,000 right now, like, why wouldn't you go and take the 300,000? Like, coaches get mad when players want to make money, but it's like, you didn't end up at your school because they were the lowest bidder. You know what I mean? Like, there's a financial decision involved. And if it's life-changing money, like you'd be dumb not to consider it. I will say this. I don't think NIL is the deciding factor for the majority of recruitments, though, because most schools are going to be pretty much in the same range. And are you really, if your big thing is, I want to be developed, I want to be, or I love the facilities, or I love my coach, or, I love the game day atmosphere. Are you going to make a decision over $20,000? No, you're going to take where you're happiest, right? Like, and money can do a lot of things, but it doesn't guarantee happiness. So I think you're splitting hairs a lot of the time when this school is giving me $25,000 more dollars, I'm going to go there automatically. I don't think you see a lot of that. It's when you're getting in the big money guys, the guys who are getting over $1 million, the ones that you hear about. I think that's when it's a little different. But I found, coaches who are creative in the way they recruit, or showing a track record of, if you come here, you're going to come here for this. And there's some SEC schools that are like that they don't pay a lot right out the bat. But if you start, all of a sudden you're up here, and it can be an overnight thing. So you got to think of that as well. What's my trajectory? Am I going to get an opportunity to play? How much do I love it there? Money can't be the sole deciding factor. Some people are driven by money, just like some people are driven by, I don't know, anything in life. It's what makes the kid tick, and that comes down to the recruiter. And if they want you bad enough, they got to find a way, unless it's just outlandish. But it does play a part without question. I've worked with people that if all things are created equal, I'm going to this school. But if all things are created equal, except this one wants to pay half the money, well, of course, I'm going to go to so it can be the deciding factor. It's not always the driving factor.
For sure.
Go ahead.
So you got something?
No, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just gonna say something. It was just something along the aspects of like I think that is like kind of like where you alluded to is like some people they don't find it it's not the roots of their everything compared to different ones, because it's like the one that is like his name kind of didn't look too great. Well, I mean, and nobody really much matters, but the whole happening of the recruiting of Bryce Underwood, like them saying like, oh, this guy got what, I think $12 or $13 million.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, to go to Michigan compared to him just taking a lower lunch and staying at LSU. I think that would have been a little bit. That's a skeptical reason. And then compared to like, for instance, me as a fan hearing Drink talk about the guy that you went through with Luther saying it doesn't really matter. I know that you're gonna have that faith and that trust.
Yeah,
you're just gonna get you the right money. So I was just like, it's a little spectacle to me. So
yeah, no, it is. I mean, and everybody's different. Like at the end of the day, the real money's in the league, right? Unless you're making millions in college.
Yeah.
I mean, like Carson Beck's probably making more in college than he is,
He's probably gonna
in
make
the
the
NFL.
league.
Yeah. So like, there's, and I kind of like that part of it too. These schools are making a ton of money. Like, why can't the kid, even if his career doesn't go on beyond football, like, dude, talk about capitalizing on something at a young age. And like, I mean, not all of us are that talented and have those opportunities, but like you can't blame a kid for taking advantage of them. And especially if they're doing things the right way. A lot of people don't realize there's a lot of stuff that comes with that, whether it's deliverables, whether it's signing jerseys, whether it's doing media appearances. It's not just like sitting back and collecting my check and then I'll go and show up on Saturday, throw the ball around. So there's a lot that comes with it.
Yeah. Obviously, there's been some change in the landscape as far as coaches, people getting fired, people getting let go, things of that nature. Some of these spots like Penn State, LSU, I'm trying to think of Arkansas, looking for a coach, Auburn, Florida. Who are some of the names? Let's just say, for instance, of Florida or LSU, who are some of the names in the coaching landscape that you could see taking over these jobs at this point in time?
It's really hard because it's speculation for me right now. And like you said, the game has changed. So like when I was on the media side, like I would be tied into these coaching searches. I knew who they were bringing in. I know who they had interviewed. Just because my line of work has changed a little, I don't spend as much time on that insight. But like, you look at fits, you look at, maybe the background of a coach. And so like when you look at the Florida job, one, they've had some really good coaches there and they get fired really quick. And now you're competing with a lot of people who have the same amount of money as you. It's like, is that job as attractive as it used to be? Now, so then I go back to, okay, who has a strong connection there? And then you look at Jed Fish at Washington. Okay. He was there with Spurrier. He was a GA. Jed's a friend of mine. We coached together at Minnesota. I have not talked to him about this. This is purely speculation on my part. But it just makes sense, you look at a guy like, and then you look at things that don't make sense too. So a lot of people were, Penn State got fired. He didn't get fired because he couldn't win. The dude was a winning machine. It was because he couldn't win the big games, right? And then, so if you're an AD and you go and look at, okay, so Kelly was kind of the same thing too, right? Couldn't win the big game. So, and everyone's like, okay, LSU is going to hire Franklin. Well, how am I going to explain to the state that I just fired a dude who couldn't win the big game to hire a dude who couldn't win the big game? And I'm paying $50 million to do it. So you just got to kind of look at those things. I think a guy like, Golish, again, a friend of mine, but I know him as a coach. Like, I think he's worthy of one of those jobs. He's right in Florida. Obviously Kiffin's the hot name. I don't think he leaves Ole Miss. I really don't. Unless it were to go to the Giants in the NFL. But he just seems to be in a good place. It's gonna be different. Like, I would love to see what Marcus Freeman could do down at LSU. Like, that would be fun. So you never know. There's a lot of coaches. This is going to be such an interesting carousel because, a job like Penn State, where you've got 115,000 people in the stadium that are expecting, and they had this little curse around them that they can't win the big game. And like, that doesn't always change with the coach, And so, I think there's so many good jobs open, but they may have been considered better jobs in the past because there's some places where the fans just aren't going to be happy no matter what. And if they aren't, they have influence over the team. They're in everybody's ear. Like, people don't realize how much influence a fan base can have over a team's success. Kids go from playing free to playing scared to worrying about their coach getting fired, to worrying about them getting their coach fired. Like, you can block as much noise out as you want, but you can't block all of it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree, because it's like, when I go into college football spaces and I hear people Like I've heard Penn State fans who know that I'm a Missouri fan, they want to say, "Oh, we're gonna take Drinkwitz. We're gonna take Drinkwitz," and I'm like, honestly, I don't think so. And then you got that little thing in your ear talking about, well, it could happen because what happened with Blake Baker going first? He's saying he's not going to take, and then up and left to go to LSU. It's a spectacle, and it's also like a roller coaster because it's like in your head you're watching these teams, and I kind of try and tell my fellow Mizzou fans is like it's kind of a good spot because if your coach just continues to get mentioned, that means he's doing a good job.
Yeah, you're not mentioning the guy who can't win a game, and dude, Drink has done amazing things at Missouri, and as you know, Trey, Missouri fans, like, those are my people, man.
Yeah.
When nobody got me, Missouri fans got me, and I love that. But yeah, I mean, Drink's an attractive candidate. The guy, he finds ways. Like, you look at the Winery recruitment, even go back to that, and it's like, how is he getting that? Well, they took it to like the Congress and Senate and got bills passed, and so the guy just finds a way to win.
Yeah.
And so you love that, and you've seen him grow, get his personality coming out, and having a little swag, and had Bo not gotten hurt, Missouri, they're right there, man. And you just lost Luther Burden, who was to me the most dominant guy you could find. So yeah, it's good when your coach is wanted. It's not good when you can't sleep because you're worried about losing them. And I would hate to see Missouri lose Drink. I just think he's been so great for the program and for the community.
Yeah, for sure. Couple more before we get you out of here. We know you're up against a little bit of time, but so you've been on the recruiting trail. You've seen a lot of players in your time of watching football and things of that nature, especially on the high school level and college level. Who, in your opinion, is the best player you've seen live in person?
In high school?
It could be high school. It could be college. Or anywhere, just in your career.
Yeah, I mean, in college, I don't think I've seen anybody as freaky as Adrian Peterson was. Yeah. Dude, I remember sitting on the sidelines. It was Nebraska, Oklahoma, and he's running down the sidelines, and they needed a first down. I swear to God, the dude went parallel to the ground. His ankles were all the way bent, and then somehow just keeps on running right through it. And I'm like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. Yeah. Literally, how is that possible? So he's definitely up there. I've seen a lot of the greats like Tom Brady, in person, Ron Dane. I like the ones that, I saw in high school and then you see them go on. So Jamison Williams is a big one for me. Carnell Tate, those kids, I knew that they were going to be special. Luther, I knew they were going to be special at a young age. So it's fun watching them go on and and be these dudes, but I would say Adrian Peterson, probably the most freaky that I've seen in person in his prime in college at Oklahoma. Ted Ginn was really good. He was fun to watch. Ron Dane was just so dominant. Nobody wanted to tackle him. Yeah. I mean, look at Melvin Gordon. Good Lord. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor. Well, Melvin was good.
Yeah.
Wisconsin has had some running backs, man.
And I grew up around a lot of them, and I go on podcasts with a lot of them, so I love seeing them, ball out. But yeah, dude, so many great ones. Thinking that I was young watching Tom Brady, not knowing that he's gonna be Tom Brady someday. It's wild. So it's fun when you find them though, when nobody knows about it, and you're like, who is that kid? That's how it happened with me and Jamison Williams. I was at a camp with 300 kids. I had a list of kids I was there to eval. And out of the corner of my eye, I kept on seeing this kid. I'm like, somebody find out who that kid is. Ends up being Jamison. And then 2 weeks later, everybody had offered him. So that's the fun part for me. Watching these kids grow, develop, become great. And the crazy thing is it's not always the most talented one. Yeah. It's a lot of the time it's the most driven kids. And so yeah, but you just made me realize I've seen a lot of good football players. Charles Woodson in college, dude, Jeff George. back when I was like 3 years old at Illinois. Like, I'm a football junkie, man.
Did you ever get to see Reggie in person?
Oh my God. I think I coached against him. I can't remember. He was like, no, he's the best. He's the best film I've ever watched.
Oh my goodness.
Like I've never seen anything like that. Do you remember? I mean, do you remember Sam McGuffey too?
I don't.
Go and look up Sam McGuffey. I mean, he might be working at a car dealership now. I don't know. He might be in the CFL, but he had like one of the best high school tapes ever. He was kind of like a more athletic Cam Scatabo. But Reggie Bush, I can't remember. What year did he graduate?
He would have been, let's see, so
2002.
Yeah, he probably would have been 03, 02 or something like that.
Okay, then I don't
think that 05 season he was a sophomore, or junior. Was he a junior when he was going? There's the 1 year where he was going crazy for them. They lost the national title that year, but he had an insane year that year.
Yeah, I wouldn't have seen him in person then, unless he was still there in 2006, because I was on staff at Nebraska and we played out there. But I can't remember if he was on that team. But I remember watching all the film of him. Like, that dude,
it's insane, man.
He's one of the best ever. It's insane.
Right, for sure.
Honestly, I've been in a little bit more in the newer age, but it's like there's a lot of guys that watching them. It's like, because for me, of course, I was a little kid and I was just watching guys like Tyrann Mathieu run up and down the field. I was watching guys like
crazy.
Honey Badger.
Yeah, I was watching guys like I'm watching 07, 09 with my parents, and we're over here watching the AJ McCarrons and whatnot. It was.
I can't believe I didn't see Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, you were there for that
every week. I'm like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, how insane was that?
Are freaky. Like I was around them a whole season. I'm just like, how is this possible?
Yeah,
it was like, I loved it when my dad was on staff there, because it was never like the games got interesting, but you're like, well, we're gonna win in the end. Like, and I've never been around something like that where it's like you were that good and those players were that talented. Like even Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I'm like, that dude was a beast, you know?
Yeah. Because I was saying, weren't you there for the Clemson versus LSU game?
I sure was.
I believe that year was Sark's first year at Texas, I want to say.
Was it?
And I think so. And they came to Texas and they both raced us. they kicked our ass. Like, it was bad.
I mean, they were like, I've never seen anything like Joey Burrow. Like, I was older at this point.
Yeah.
So I had a better understanding of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And very Tom Brady-esque, where it's like there's this energy, this magnetism to like, I got this, you know? And like, when you look over at Joe, like Joe Cool, he's got it. And then you got the dudes like, I mean, they had like fifth stringers getting drafted in a few years, you know?
Chase, Jefferson, Joe Burrow, Edwards-Helaire, Derek Stingley was a freshman.
Dude, best freshman I'd ever seen in my life. Like, dude, that dude could cover like no other. And he was big too. Who's the receiver who went to the Panthers in like the third round? He was like the number 4 receiver.
Forget his name. I know he's on a different team now.
Yeah, I think he's on a different team now, but he was really good.
Yeah, they had a squad. Yeah, I think Kayvon and Chason was part of that team.
Chason was there. Patrick Queen.
Oh, Terrence Marshall Jr.
Terrence Marshall Jr. Yeah, they were
Patrick
crazy.
Queen. Cushenberry, like their entire offensive line starting in the NFL on top of it.
Yeah. I was looking at it because I was like, dang, like we were, because of course we know a whole bunch of Kansas fans, and they're like, Jamar Chase was so close to committing to Kansas, and he was this 3-star athlete at the time, and it's like now, if you look at him now, you're like, oh, he had to have been one of the best receivers in college. He would have been like a 5-star or something, and it's just like. I was like, dang. for you to watch that game, to watch Clemson versus LSU, because those were the battles of the two unbeaten teams in college football. Like being there for that, because you're watching that, but also on the other side for Clemson, they had Travis Etienne,
Trevor Lawrence.
They had T. Higgins. They had Christian Wilkins on the defensive side. I don't know if AJ Terrell was over there at the time.
They had Jeremiah. Was it Jeremiah Smith? The guy who would play defensive end, linebacker, safety, corner.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. There's too many good Jeremiahs.
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams. He was also on that team, or on that Clemson squad. Like being there and just watching it, like this was like the NFL game for college football.
Yeah, it was like a Pro Bowl.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
Dexter Lawrence, another one. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It seems like it was yesterday, but it wasn't.
Clint, before we get you out of here, all right. Obviously week 12 is coming up. A lot of good games on the slate this week. Georgia, Texas plays each other. Texas is obviously my team. We also got OU and Alabama going up against each other. I just want to get your quick thoughts on both of those games, and will you be watching both of those games for sure this weekend?
Well, I will be at the Miami, North Carolina State game, so I won't be able to watch the night games. Now, Texas, Georgia, I really haven't seen Georgia enough this year, to be honest. It's hard to win at Georgia, but Texas is, they're coming on at the right time. They have the weapons, What was the other game that you want to know?
OU and Alabama.
Honestly, any of them.
Dude, so like OU at the beginning of the year, I was like, oh God, they might be in the championship.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that Alabama has just gotten to a different gear, that Alabama will win that game. But I think that could be a great matchup, and it could be a very close one. Georgia. So, hey, DG, who are you picking, Texas or Georgia?
Yeah, it's tough for me, man, because obviously we faced Kirby twice last year and failed twice last year. In both of those games, he's had a great game plan, especially up front in the trenches with his defensive line. And we all know how bright of a defensive mind Kirby Smart is, obviously. And Sark is he just hasn't gotten the better of him in these matchups. So
could this be the one?
I'm hoping so. I hope so. Like, that's my hope. Texas last week, not last week, 2 weeks ago, obviously made a change on their offensive line, switching Cole Hudson to left guard and Connor Robinson to center, which seemed to kind of work and gel for them, which I think has been a kind of more of a negative for them, is why they haven't been playing very well this year. The offensive line just hasn't been great. If that same offensive line that showed up against Vanderbilt shows up in Georgia, I could see them pulling it off. If the offensive line that shows up against Kentucky and Mississippi State and those guys, then it's going to be a long day against Kirby.
And is it a boat race?
Yeah. So I won't stray away from my team, but yeah, man, I would be lying to you if I'd say I wasn't super nervous for this game, because
well, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, opportunity.
It's like a playing game almost for Texas.
Yeah. It's a chance and opportunity for them to really keep their college football playoff hopes alive at this point. I know a lot of people have been talking, saying that they still could possibly make it in with three losses, but I just don't. If you don't beat Georgia,
that third loss might have to be in the championship game, though.
Yeah, that's where I'm thinking it has to be. So you got to at least finish this season strong.
Yeah, when you got that stuff, like, you get to see what people are made of. Texas might step up this week.
Right, we'll see. I hope so. Like, that's been my thought process. They come off a bye, so I would hope that
that also helps a lot.
Yeah, you coming off a bye. Georgia has played, I think, this will be their fourth straight game in 4 weeks or whatever.
People are beat up.
Even
if they're healthy.
Right. So we'll see. Texas is healthy, so maybe. I think there's a chance, but at the same time, I'd
you're
be lying to
saying
you
there's a chance.
that I'm nervous as hell for this game. So I'll be definitely sweating bullets on Saturday night.
Well, I'll definitely be checking into it now. You got me a little more intrigued.
Clint, man, we appreciate you being here, man, and especially coming in on short notice and things of that nature. Tell the good people where they can find and follow you at, and find all your work at and things.
Gosh, I should probably look it up. I am on Twitter, or X is where I spend most of my time, but yes. I am Clint _C. And then on Instagram, what am I? I am Clint _Cosgrove. So that's easy. So, but yeah, there's the Instagram.
Okay.
And here's the X.
Okay. Yeah, guys, make sure you go follow Clint on both of those platforms. Check out his work, or whatever. Like you said, pulling up here last minute for us and providing some good information for us and providing his insight has been phenomenal. Man. We appreciate it.
I forgot to ask you this because this just popped up in my mind. Who is your national championship? Who is your national champion?
Yeah, got to ask that.
I'm gonna say
putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I know. For me, it's Ohio State or Oregon.
Okay. Who do they play?
Each other.
Oh. Okay. All right. So you can't go wrong either way.
Yeah. But no, I think Texas A&M, Indiana, Alabama, Georgia. I mean, anybody who has a quarterback and can play some defense down the line, and really, it's going to come down to who stays healthy as well.
Yeah. For sure. Well, we appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate y'all. This was a lot of fun. I'm gonna go and get some grub now and then pack for my trip.
Yeah, do that. Hey, you're welcome back anytime you're ready, man. For sure.
Love it. No, I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one.
You too, as well, man.
All right, later.
Man.
Yeah, man. We hope y'all appreciate tonight, man. It's been awesome. I'm trying to think if we have anything else that we wanted to talk about. I don't really have anything else.
We handled a good amount of it with Glenn.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week, guys. To talk about Texas versus Georgia, Bama versus Oklahoma. Also going to do as we getting closer to the CFP. We are. I am looking for people to from other fan bases to come and join us on the show. It's kind of like a call in to kind of give us a little bit of insight, even if your team isn't making the CFP. If you're part of one of the organizations that have had a coaching firing or something like that, you kind of want to express about any of those things, man. Like always, man, hit me up on Twitter at Keep It Prolific, or you can hit Trey up on Twitter as well at that A16. And just let us know if you'd like to come on and join the show, man. College football is obviously heating up. We're almost to the end, bro. Like we started this thing beginning of the season and in the summer, and it's almost over. Man. So we're getting to conference championship weekend and things of that nature. It's gonna get it's gonna get real spooky. So bowl season is upon us, and it's getting to the nitty gritty. So
watching teams in the local area fight for a bowl.
Right. Right.
What is Kansas? 5-4 or 5-5 or something?
I think Kansas are they. I think with another win they'll be bowl eligible.
Yeah, I think they're at the 5 mark. I do think they're at the 5. I don't think. Yeah, they're 5-5.
You guys are already bowl eligible, right? We've
been bowl eligible for a minute.
Let me pull this up real quick.
Oh, they got Iowa State. Yep. They're on the bye week. Oh.
Right.
They got 2 bad games. They might not make it because they got Iowa State and Iowa State home versus Utah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, man. With all that going on, Underdog Fantasy is the best place to make some bread and win cash prizes off of some of these games that are going on. I don't know if you guys have seen, Underdog Fantasy has recently had an update on their app as well too. Now you can pick money lines and spreads on Underdog Fantasy. So use the
Wow.
promo code KingdomCast and make the transition over there using the promo code KingdomCast. New users obviously play $5 and get $50 in bonus credits at this point in time. So make your way over there. Tell them the good people from Kingdom Cast sent you. And yeah, man, there's so much going on right now. College football, NBA is going. What else? We got college football playoffs going to be coming up soon.
Put your pictures up, man.
Bro, you got here in the next couple minutes. Thursday night football is about to happen here soon. You got Jets versus Patriots going on here. So, man,
college basketball is back.
College basketball as well too is in full force now. So, yeah, man, get on Underdog, man, and make you a little bit of holiday cash on there for sure. Let's get to our next sponsor. Go ahead, Trey.
Hey man, we going through the season and it's starting to get cold. I know y'all can't throw them on the burgers. Y'all can't throw the burgers and the chicken on the grill no more. Y'all can't do that. Y'all can't do that. So I think me personally, we said it all season. We're gonna keep saying it. You might need to slide over the wings and things. They got this nice game day box. Yum, yum. Nice game day box. It's not on Fridays. It's on game day. So you going to go in there. You're going to get you a little game day box. You get 10 wing wings. 10 wing wings. Flats and drums. Both. They good sizes. We ain't going to hear the cheat. We ain't going to cheat you now. They good size wing wings. You get a nice 10-piece tender. You get a nice little sauce, whatever you want on sauce. All that. They coming up with different sauces. They got fries too. They got good ranch too. Go ahead and get go up there. Go up there with wings and things up there on Troops. Let them know that me and DG and Kingdom Cast sent you. And hey, make sure you get that strawberry. Get that large strawberry if you're going to get that game day box. Get that large strawberry no ice. Just let them know. That's the good eats. That's what kids say around here. That's good eats.
Good
Come on now. For only a low price of $28.99.
For sure. One more thing before if I can pull this up.
And then we have a special thing to point out as well after this. While DG is looking for what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, he put it on social media. He told everybody who really wanted to tell. Ladies and gentlemen,
yeah,
my good co-host, my boy, my dog for a minute, you know what I'm saying? Go to the ups and the downs together. Mm-hmm. My man's got a baby boy on the way.
Yes. Yeah. Appreciate everybody. They hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, all the areas or whatever. Just officially announced yesterday. Me and my wife are expecting at this point in time. So baby boy is going to be here soon, March of 2026, coming up soon. So we're excited for a blessing and a bundle of joy for, that God has given us. If you know anything about our story or anything like that, we've been through some rough times with, conceiving and things of that nature. And obviously we lost our first son as well too. So we appreciate all the support and prayers and everything that we've gotten over this past year and things like that. So continue to keep praying for us, continue to keep us in your prayers. And we appreciate everything. If you guys, and I'm not begging or asking or anything, if you guys would like to buy things off the registry, baby registry, go to my Twitter. It's pinned on my Twitter page at this point in time, and just click the link. Whatever you guys feel free to get, or if you want to donate on there, there's a link on there that goes directly to our Venmo. If you just don't know what to get or anything like that, we appreciate everything. $1, even if it's just $1, man, we appreciate it all. So yeah, man. Again, can't thank people enough for their loving support and continued prayers, and hopefully y'all continue to keep praying for us. I did want to bring up one more thing in the community as well from another local business that's close to my heart as well. Peachtree Buffet, Eastwood Traffic Way, and I think one on 12th Street as well. They have been helping families through this hard and difficult time. As obviously we've seen, with the government shut down and people, obviously struggling with the economy and things of that nature. They have been helping try to feed people in the city, especially kids, for free, and things of that nature, and also adults as well too. If you would like to donate to them, that link is also on my page as well for the GoFundMe. Every dollar amount helps, man. So to feed somebody in the city, somebody's kid, somebody relative, or anything like that, you never know who it is. Everybody falls on hard times, and everybody needs help at points in time. So go ahead and shoot over there, man, if you would like to do something, especially around now that we're getting to the holiday season and things of that nature. Put some goodwill and fortune out there in the world if you can, man. If you see it in your heart to do so, go ahead and shoot over and do that for me if you would. So, yeah, man. Go ahead.
I was about to say, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting around that time. We do this all the time at the end of the segment where we talk about these high school kids, man. This is district championship week.
Yeah. Getting the real football, man. Real football. Unfortunately, my boys at St. Pius X went down, Platte County. But shout out to those guys over there, man. Them young boys, they definitely put a lot into the season, man. I know there's some other local teams around here that are still breathing through these playoffs.
Yeah, we got some good matchups here, DG.
Yeah. Go ahead. Give us a couple before we get out of here. Let's
see. First off with shout out to them boys over at both schools, as they're going to be going head to head. We got Liberty Liberty versus Liberty North at Liberty High School. That was going to be a good one, DJ. I think that was going to be a good one. We have on the Class 5 area, you got North Kansas City. We're talking about the North Kansas City Hornets. They're taking on my alma mater in the Lee Summit Tigers in the Class 5 area.
That's why you wanted to tell you. That's why you wanted to bring this up.
Nah. I don't really even know the coach that like that. But hey, look, anytime they look good, they look good. Gotta flex it out a little bit. Speaking of Platte County, they're taking on Rockhurst.
Yep.
Platte County versus Rockhurst in Platte City. That's gonna be a good one. No, it was a little toss-up in my eyes. And then last but not least, we're just gonna go through here just by every class. Kearney versus Savannah. The Bulldogs are looking to continue their dominance throughout their season, stay alive throughout everything. Maryville versus Richmond. Those are the boys out there by my alma mater in Northwest Missouri. But yeah, man, there's gonna be some decent games. St. Michael versus Boonville, but they're going out to Boonville for that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Interesting time in high school football. Is obviously it's getting towards the end of the season, and people preparing themselves to win district titles and hopefully make it to state. And go on to be state champions. Is it next? So shout out to all the local teams, man, that are still in it. Continue to thrive. Prepare yourselves, and go out there and dominate your matchups, man. So. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us, man. I'm gonna go enjoy Thursday, this disaster of a Thursday night football game. Kingdom Cast, I believe they'll be on after us. I'm going to assume.
Just like
Maybe. I don't know. Country hasn't told us what they're doing tonight. But yeah, check those guys out, man. Broncos and Chiefs obviously coming up this weekend. Big matchup for the Chiefs, man. Backs against the wall. So definitely got a must-winning game. So it's a lot of good football action going on this weekend, man. So yeah, man, let's enjoy. Love yourselves, love your families, love each other. And we are out. We will see y'all next week. Peace.